wanted to come on here and talk about something that I've been going through lately. Something that I've been aware of. I think I've been going through it for a while, but I'm a lot more hyper aware of it lately. And I kind of had an epiphany, an aha moment this morning as I woke up. So I kind of wanted to share it, at least the idea of what I'm going through, with some of you, in the hopes that it helps people gain perspective on their own lives or maybe their own relationships. Our perspective of who we are, the way we see ourselves, the reality of our minds and how we interact with people versus the way that other people see us, the way that people talk about you when you're not around. What does it have to say about your character? Like, who do you think you are in this world versus what other people see and feel when you're around or have relationships with you? And I think it's really profound because oftentimes our view of who we are isn't always completely accurate. And that may be because of how we were raised, past relationships, trauma, PTSD, addictions, the list goes on and on. So the point is, how do we align the way that we see ourselves with the way that people that love us and care about us see us? And do we take the time to heed the words, to listen to the words that people tell us when we're in those moments of conflict, when we're in those moments of having a tough conversation with a friend or a partner or a family member, where they're trying to tell you where you need to improve on something, or they're trying to bring to light a flaw that you have that hinders you in your growth or makes you make poor decisions. How do you take on that information? Do you actually listen to it? Do you think on it? Do you absorb it? Or do you go, oh, they're just crazy. They don't know what they're talking about. I think in my life, I've done a bit of both. But lately, I've been really trying to listen. And I've been really trying to figure out who I am in the grand scheme of things. Not just who I think I am, but who I actually am. And what I mean by that, again, is my perception of myself versus the people who love me and care about me, their perception. And you sort of balance the two out. If you can actually have that conversation with somebody you care about or cares about you enough to tell you how it really is. Who are you really? And that's something I've been wrestling with. Not losing sleep over it or anything, don't get me wrong, but really trying to figure it out. And I think it's important to say this. We have to learn, if we want to grow and evolve as a human being, we have to take time to listen to criticism. We have to take time to listen to the people that love us, that are telling us this is an issue, especially if it keeps happening, right? You can't just sort of go, oh, that's my past. That's the way I was raised. That's the stuff I saw growing up. That's the way, I saw my parents interacting. So that kind of just is how I interact. Using those sort of excuses or blaming an addiction, whether it be drugs or alcohol or whatever. It's like taking all that, stripping all of that away. All those excuses, all that backpedaling we do, and actually owning our behavior, processing those things that, baggage, those scars we have from the past. And learning to change those habits, learning to change those patterns. That's real growth. It's one thing to apologize to somebody for being a jerk, for saying something, for hurting somebody's feelings, for acting a fool when drunk. The list goes on. You know what I'm talking about. It's one thing to apologize for that type of behavior. And it's another thing completely to change that behavior, to really work at it and analyze and listen to when people are giving you criticism or just trying to help you, really. Because I find that most people who truly care about you, they're not going to let you off the hook, right? They're not going to just let things slide. The people who do that, who are just like, It's not a big deal. Have another drink. It's not a big deal. You weren't being a jerk. It's fine. Those people are either non-confrontational or they just don't care enough to try to help you grow. It's the ones that are coming at you and telling you, hey, the pattern has to change here. So what do you do with that information? Are you one of those people that truly cares and wants to change? Or are you one of those people that just shrugs it off and it's like, oh, they're crazy. I find that I've been both of those types of people. And what I'm trying to be more and more now is the person that really does pay attention and has that desire to grow. You can't lose your personality. You need to be who you are. But I think there's a way to be who you are without hurting people's feelings. There's a way to be who you are without causing disruption. There's a way to be who you are without repeating those patterns that, potentially really affect other people in a negative way. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, do better as a person. Do better as a partner. Do better as a family member, a spouse, a sibling. Why wouldn't you want to? Listen to people when they tell you things. Actually listen to them. Don't immediately get defensive and invalidate what that person is saying. They're saying it to you for a reason. They're upset for a reason. What is that reason? Even if you initially don't agree with what they're saying about you, it's triggered something within them, and it's worth the discussion. And those types of discussions are not easy to have, but they're always worth it. I would rather have a friendship or a relationship with somebody that calls me out of my shit and we work through that stuff, or vice versa, that I call them out on their shit and we sort through it, and that relationship gets better, it gets stronger, versus where that just doesn't happen and it's this toxic cycle of abuse, really. We're living in a time now where there's a lot of words that are thrown around all the time, psychological terms, whether it be narcissism or, toxic or, you name it. You guys know what I'm talking about. I think we have to be careful with how much we use those terms, because sometimes the root of what's going on is just more simple than that. It's not even that complex. Someone can be selfish without being a narcissist. Someone can be a jerk without being, bipolar. Someone can be sort of unhinged and moody, if you will, without being bipolar or depressed. Not everybody has a mental illness. Some people are just jerks. But seriously, I think this is all part of growth. And I think it's important to be open to that. So if you really care about people in your life that you surround yourself with, if you really care to evolve as a human, don't shut people down when they're trying to give you advice, or they're trying to help you, or they're trying to correct behavior that they see as flawed. And granted, not everybody's going to be correct, but don't shoot it down immediately and get defensive. Sometimes it's worth you sitting and thinking about what's being said to you. Sometimes it's worth having that discussion that might be uncomfortable or painful. And I'm going on 46 years old this year, and I'm still evolving as a human. If I can do it, so can you. It's worth it to strengthen your relationships, to have deeper relationships. I find that's one of the most frustrating things for me as a person who enjoys good conversation and poetry and, intellectual thought. There's too much shallow relationships out there. It's why I don't have a lot of friends. I have friends, but not a ton. My social circle isn't huge. Obviously I'm in a band, and I have people that I would consider acquaintances, really. But the people I allow in my inner circle, the people who actually come to my home that I will pick up the phone for and really go out of my way to sort of bring into my life, those people are few and far in between. because society lacks depth. We lack the attention span for the long term. And I think it's important to change that, even just on a small scale within your own life and your own interpersonal relationships. So, not exactly 100% sure what the point of this video was, but I felt the need to make it. Maybe it'll hit somebody's ears and they'll be humbled by it. And maybe, just maybe, your relationship will be strengthened by that. Or if you're the person watching and you feel the need to tell your partner or your friend or your family member that you have an issue with them, do it. And I guess to wrap it all up, you can still be confrontational and you can still tell people to change or correct their behavior or call them out on their bullshit, and be kind. You can still do it and be kind. Kindness goes a long way. Not being nice, and I've said this before many times and I'll say it again. There's a big difference between being kind and being nice. Nice is not a positive thing. Nice is kind of like I don't know if I want to say weak. Yeah, I guess it's kind of weak. Nice is it's a cop-out. Nice is a very shallow sort of, oh, let's just be nice and everything's fine and I don't talk about it. Where kindness, you can be firm, but still show kindness in your tone of voice and the way you treat people. It's good to be kind. Niceness, not so much. Take it from me. I'm a recovering people pleaser. I don't want to be nice anymore. I want to be kind. So approach whatever situation you have in your life with kindness and be confrontational and learn to take criticism. Learn to listen. Learn to listen to understand as opposed to listen to defend and interject or give advice. We're so quick to respond when people are speaking to us or venting to us. It's good to take pause and allow that information to sit in and allow that person to feel like they've been heard, to feel like they've been validated. And then you can figure out, is it good to respond? Is it good to defend myself? But again, if you're going to defend yourself, do it with kindness. It's important. These things are very important. I've been going through it a lot lately in my mind. And it really makes me think back on my past and everything that I've been through and the man that I was and the man I'm becoming. And I'm happy to say that I'm not perfect. But when I look in the mirror, when I think about who I am, I like me. I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right on my journey. I know I got a ways to go, but so far so good. So stay humble. Listen to people. Be open and learn how to be evolved, I guess. Evolution is good. I suppose that's it. I've kind of run out of my train of thought. Hopefully it helps somebody out there. Just felt the need to talk on it. Thanks for watching. More behind the scenes tour videos to come. More poetry, whatever strikes my fancy, more of all those things. But for now, there's my little video. I'm not even sure what to call it in my little venting situation. But enjoy the rest of your day or night, wherever you are in the world. And I'll be back on here in the near future with more videos. Thanks, everybody. Peace.